Alrighty, folks, this is the part of the boot camp where we take the whole market buy box, understanding the spreadsheet, and we actually flip the script. A lot of you will be sharing your spreadsheets. Again, there is no right answer for a spreadsheet. It's what's right for you. I do think there are some things all spreadsheets need to have, and you'll see that in my base model that's in the course. The whole goal for me is the last column, right? Yield. That's what we're trying to build to, so that we can learn what an average deal is in our chosen buy box. But there's a lot of extra data that you may want to capture along the way, which is totally okay. I will highlight that I think there are some fields that are very important in the beginning, like date fields, like what date you added it or what date something changed. I think a notes field is very helpful as you're learning. So you could just, like, the first time you find a property, you could write it down like, I don't know, corner lot, roof looks bad, tree too close, or whatever you happen to see. I think there's value in documenting what your first thoughts are about a property. The math is something we'll go through, right? Mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, reserves, right? We'll talk about make ready. Make ready for some of you is going to be relatively easy because you are contractors. For some of you, it's going to be really hard, like it was for me. I chose to invest in a market where I knew no one. I had to build that repetition. I had to do all that thing. So I get it. So we can talk about A, B, and C, what's right for you. But again, this show is about you. Again, raise your hand if you didn't hear us earlier. You would like to share your spreadsheet. I will go in the order that I see them, and I see that Shri is first. So Shri, I will turn it over to you. If you don't mind, you can ask questions if you want it first, or you can just bring up your spreadsheet however you like to roll. Oh, first we need to turn on mute. Unmute. Ask to unmute. How is this not? There we go.
There we go. How's that?
There we go. I got you.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, this is my spreadsheet. I've decided. So
can you share it? I can't quite see it.
See here.
Sorry.
No, that's on me. Second. Share screen. It says the host has disabled the participants.
Oh, my bad. See, that's on me.
No problem.
Allow more. There we go. Now I've clicked. Try one more time, please. Sorry.
Okay, sure.
I knew that coming in and I still missed it. Okay, here we go. All right.
All right. I'm hoping nothing's in the way of the screen. So just let me know if you can see something.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've decided on a particular suburb of Atlanta in the Northwest called Kennesaw, Georgia. It's a little north of where the Atlanta Braves play. And I've determined this. Basically, I reached out to some of my property managers in the last week. And apparently this is one of the areas that's particularly blossoming for rentals. They don't stay on the market very long. They're doing really well. There's a regional university in that area. So that's basically what I've decided to focus on in the next 90 days.
I like it.
Yeah, so my requirements here are I'm looking at 3 twos with 2-car garages, 1,500 square feet minimum. Okay. And I think I lowered the top end to be 450,000 and less.
Okay.
So these are sorted from going from low price to high price. Okay. I have a couple of variables here that I just because down the road I know we want to see how the yield changes based on some of these parameters evolving. So I made these variable. So I like that right now. Yeah. So right now they're at 25% down. Closing costs is here. Mortgage interest, especially because for renters, will be a little higher than normal. I put it 8%. Sure. 30 years, and then the tax rate probably I need to do some homework on. I haven't really looked at that, and I haven't called property managers about rental the rates. All I did was I went to the HUD fair market rent over here, and you can see down here it's 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 4 bedrooms. Just because not everything's at 3, apparently. I picked up a few other things. So Yeah. So that's what I have.
Yeah, so I like this. Can you go to the variables? Because again, some folks are comfortable with Excel, some aren't.
Sure.
So uh, when someone goes in and creates defaults like this or variables, what you're basically allowing yourself to do is change one variable and it ripples through. So for example, that row 22 that you have 25%,
Yep.
that's going to impact, I think, column F. Is that correct?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
we
if you
go
change
down.
that, yeah, if you change it to 20%, you can just show folks it. Yeah. So it'll ripple through. So again, if you're not comfortable with Excel, it's okay. You could do this one row at a time, right? I know some people just don't get it, no experience. It's okay. If you have experience, I think setting up variables like this is interesting. One thing you may want to do in the future is, like, for example, if you took justice, just row number 2, 3134 justice,
Mm-hmm.
something down the line, like week 7 or 8 of this,
Mm-hmm.
I would actually create 2 or 3 rows of justice and
Right.
change different variables on that. But that's kind of more advanced stuff down the lane or down the
Sure.
road.
Sure.
That's interesting. Um, we do have a missing column G, repair costs. Is that, are all properties kind of move in condition?
They're
Or
not.
just
I mean,
okay.
I think I have to do a better job of going through the photos and making my estimates of that.
Hmm.
Um, they look pretty close. I
Okay.
wouldn't say it's for like personally moving in, but for rental
Right.
moving in, I
Yeah.
think
Rental quality.
most of them are good.
Yeah.
Not massive flips here because the prices kind of reflect that. The cheapest is 320,000,
Hmm.
which is not abnormal in Atlanta,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay. Um, can you scroll to the right for me as well, please?
sure.
Okay. Tell me about what you have there for repair. Is that just a percent, like 5% or something?
Yeah, I think this has started from
Oh,
the
10%.
spreadsheet that
Okay.
you put in
Hmm.
on the on Teachable.
Hmm.
So I probably have. I don't think I've changed anything for that. Some of
Okay.
the things that I know, like for example, my property manager in Atlanta charges 10%,
Right.
whereas the one in Greenville I have charges 8%. So I use
Yeah.
10% here.
Sure.
Um, so some things that I know. So on this, I just kept the default.
Sure.
Um,
Okay. So you
can you
do
tell
have,
me?
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, can you tell me how do you differentiate cap expenses versus repairs?
Yeah, so I was just going to go there. So one of the things that I do in the beginning is now what I do is I do all the repairs day one.
Yeah.
So I kind of lump capex and repairs together now,
Okay.
because really what you have here is you have over almost 30% in reserves, right? You have capex at 10%, you have repairs at 10%, you have
Yeah.
vacancies at, I don't know, 8% or whatever that is.
Right. Say percent.
That's yeah, that's a lot of kind of that's almost 30%.
Right.
And when I go into a property again, doing all the repairs before the tenant moves in, I'm more like 20% for all of those, right?
Okay.
Maybe even 18. If it's a single family home, it might even be 18%. On an
Right.
apartment, it would be 20, 22 because they just turn more.
Right.
Um, that's a lot of reserves right there
Yes.
when you add all three of those together.
Yeah, I definitely have to do a second as the coming weeks come in and I look at the
Yeah.
properties in more detail. I definitely think I would go visit these comps because right now I'm nowhere
Yeah.
near investing in Kennesaw. So these
Yeah, of
yields are
course.
horrible.
Yeah.
So
You're early. You're early. Yeah.
yeah.
This is okay. This is where it all starts. And you start to refine later. And that's the first thing that jumped out at me going through this is lots of reserves. Because
Right.
again, that adds up, right? That's what is that?
Oh,
Six
for
hundred
sure.
bucks a month times 12. That's 7,200 bucks a year.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of heavy. Not that
Yep.
it's just kind of heavy. The other thing that I think I would add to this spreadsheet looks great is I might
Mm.
start adding, and again, this is unique. I did not have this 20 years ago when I started. I would probably add a days on market or add a date
Yes.
field for when it came up because I really do
Yeah.
think that's going to become interesting because I think what's going to happen for a lot of us is some properties that you find are going to sell quick. They're probably going to be very close to like owner occupied condition. And then there's just going to be these ones that don't sell. And those are going to be where the opportunities for disrespectful offers could come in.
Right.
Um, so I would definitely have days on market or day listed or something Just so it's easier for me to find. I don't have to go back and look. When did that property come up?
Sure. No, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, and I know that's going to help us down the road because obviously when we're looking to make our deals, there's going to be sellers when they're past 30 or 60 days on market, they're going to negotiate past a number that the other guys won't that are new to the market.
This
So,
is one of the absolute goals of this for all of you is you're going to find what is and isn't selling in your buy box. And if your buy box is like all the ones I've looked at over the years, there are some properties that just don't have that it factor. It's on the wrong side of the street. It's a corner lot. It's near I mean, whatever it is, but they make great rentals. And, we need that magnifying glass. So I would definitely look for that. And then can you keep going to the right? I don't know if those are the last two columns or not.
yeah, I think we're getting there.
Oh, comments. Okay, you do have. I would definitely add a comment. I think comments, especially when you're starting out, are
Yeah.
important. I'm talking like raw first thought comments, like, "Oh, I think that kitchen is ugly," or just whatever it is that you see in that property the first time. Write it down. And what would be likely very interesting is over the course of 30, 60, 90 days, what you identify will change.
Mm.
Right? It'll be part of the evolution, I think. So I
Okay.
would do a better job of writing down comments or first thoughts or whatever you're comfortable putting there.
Sure. I'll do that.
Scroll to the left again for me. Let's see what else we got here. This is fun. So do you think any of your homes will have HOA? I don't know Atlanta.
Um, Usually they don't, but what I've noticed here, I was surprised by it too, actually, because these are all single family homes. They're
Mhm.
not townhomes or condos. But I think what's happening is the neighborhood has an annual fee, and sometimes,
Oh.
and I think sometimes it's like $100 for the year or
Oh,
something.
okay. All right.
But there is something because I try to filter out the HOA, which I would
Mhm.
prefer.
Right.
But it limited it so much that was well
Okay.
below 20.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
why I
There
kept
you
it
go.
up there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. If it's $120 charge, the $10 got to come from somewhere. So if that's there,
Right.
then absolutely add those.
Yeah.
Um, and then you said you're going to check on taxes. Insurance looks a little low, but again, I don't know Atlanta. That's what is that? $400,
No,
430
that's
or
low. Yeah, I haven't finished this field yet.
okay. All
So
right, no
yeah.
problem. So
So I yeah,
you know where to dig. That's good.
yeah. I have a good amount of work still to fill this out. So
No, it's it's part of the process. That's good. All right. Do you have any questions as you were putting this together?
um no, not right now. I mean, I was looking at obviously sources for rent while I was doing that. Like
Yeah.
Rent-A-Meter, I think I expired that after about two or three without
Yeah.
doing a paid session. So but I do remember when one of your previous recordings somebody had mentioned HUD fair market rent. I
Yeah.
think that was, and actually it turned out it was very close to Rent-A-Meter where things were
Oh,
going. So I thought that was good.
yeah.
So I use that as a default, but as I get closer, I am going to try to call the agents and see,
Okay.
especially the one that's referred me, so I can probably, fine tune that number a little bit more.
Yeah. What one of the questions we need to answer if we're using HUD is HUD or Section 8 sometimes called is Section 8 going to be the floor or is it the ceiling? Like in some markets and some buy boxes, Section 8's actually the top end. For a lot of markets, it is the floor. So
Mm.
what you need to find out is like I don't know Atlanta. I'm just going to guess maybe 2180 for a 3 bedroom is the floor, and
Yeah,
cash people go up to 24. Right? These are things that you'll start to uncover.
sure. I can see that. I can see it being the floor for certain in this area. So
Okay. Um, any other questions?
no, I'm good right now. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. Nice job. Karen, Casey, I have your hand up next. Oh, mute.
Okay, I am.
Yep, you're good. Hi, Karen.
Hi. Now I'm hoping this is the right one.
Yeah, there should be a little button that says share screen.
I hit that.
Okay. Then a little window should pop up. And if your Excel spreadsheet needs to be, oh, there we go. Looks like
Okay.
it's working. There it is.
So I am a novice with
No problem.
Excel, so I pretty much kept it what you did, and I got oh, I don't even know what you call them, the little whatever they are to make the things happen. Anyways,
Okay.
so I need Excel for dummies, basically.
All right.
But
Well, we can walk through this together. It's okay.
so I used Realtor and looked at their payment options. I left the down payment at 30%. I put the price, and maybe I'd go to 25, but I left it at 30. I estimated repair costs, and I probably maybe they'd be a little bit high, but I just put in new carpet and
Okay.
did painting, and I was shocked at the price. I just did painted a shed, and it was $7,000. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's just insane what stuff is costing here right now. So I did that, and then closing costs, I did it at 4% because I really don't know.
Okay. Well, there's an opportunity to reach out to escrow and title, but okay. I like it.
Yes. So I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
The mortgage payment, I kind of used what Realtor said.
Sure.
Property tax, it may look, I don't know if it looks high to you or not, but my own personal insurance and property tax is quite hefty. I think my fire
I forget. Are
insurance
you in Sacramento? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I live above that, but my
Yeah,
fire insurance is like 7,000 a year. So
yeah, these are opportunities to learn, because I think I would assume Sacramento is not being hit by the crazy fire insurance rates, but maybe.
Yeah. So like I said, I still need to work on this.
Yeah, that's okay.
Then in where it says utilities and other monthly, I put just what those are just condos that have amounts in there.
Sure.
And so I put what their dues were, and then I just kind of estimated out vacancy rates, but I was still working on that part.
Sure. That's okay.
Monthly rental, I went to Zillow and I found comparable houses to the ones I was looking at to estimate out the monthly rent.
Fair.
And then, as you can see, there's like really no cash flow at all.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I went over and I've been keeping track of the days on market.
Yep.
The original listing prices, because if the listing price goes down, I'll change it in the front end.
Yeah. There you go.
Whether it's pending, and then what it is, what type.
I like it. I like that. Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. So the one thing I would add, I would definitely add a comments column. Again, just kind of your first raw comments that you saw when you looked it up. I would definitely do that. You have some stuff to work on, which is exactly what we were hoping for, as you kind of refine this. I would probably, I mean, the down payment, you can make it whatever you'd like. 25 or 30% is fine. So like, tell me the difference. You have one repair cost here, row 14, 45 grand. Do you remember what the difference is between one you have?
I think that was the one that was almost a complete. Sorry,
that's fine. No,
one of them was really, really bad because I was shocked at how bad it was. And then another one, it wasn't as horrible. It needed paint, carpet, but the lawn was completely dead. And I thought you have to put in at least some sod in that yard. Okay. So that's anyways, but the 45, I think that was the one that was like needed everything.
Yeah. Because one of the things I hope all of us, Karen, yourself, and everybody watching this will start to uncover is, as you go through this exercise, you're going to be able to answer to yourself, what's a better deal in my buy box? Buying something that's close to turnkey, or is my only opportunity to buy a dump because it doesn't qualify FHA or VA? I think that will be something we all learn. So as you're going through this, I hope all of us start to identify kind of move in ready versus I don't know, heavy fixer or however you want to frame that, because I suspect in some of your buy boxes, move-in condition will be better, but probably in many of your buy boxes, a fixer is going to be better just because you can negotiate a better deal. So that's something I hope all of us uncover. So it looks like you're on your way.
Right.
So I like what you have here.
Working on it.
There you go. Did you have a date field for when you found it? I think that was on the far right.
Well, I go in and I change it every day.
Oh, okay.
So when I first put it in, I put in
you
the
have days on market.
dates.
Okay. Yeah.
But then today, like I already went in and I looked to see if anything new was pending, and then I just changed when one day.
Part of the process. Okay, I like it. I would probably, just given since it's an important field, I would move it all the way over to the left, just so you don't have to scroll every time because you can't see the street names.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are some Excel things you could look up online, like how to freeze a pane. Row Q, you can actually make a number versus a currency because you have the little dollar sign. But if this is okay for you, it's totally okay for me. Some people are comfortable in Excel and some aren't. It's okay.
Well, I'd like to get better.
Okay. So I would look up how to freeze a pane.
Okay.
And then how to change a column, because right now I think it's currency and you want to make it just a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know what's going on. I just touched something.
It's okay. Can you scroll to the right? I just want to make sure what's on the far right.
Yeah, let me get back to it.
The right. Sorry, that was left.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right. So you don't have a comments field, right? Did we already talk about that? Sorry.
I don't know.
Okay. I would definitely add that. I think that's going to become important as this repetition builds, because again, I think like we talked with Shri, I think what you identify in the first 10 days will be very different than what you identify like day 45.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's good.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. And do you have any questions?
Not really, other than I obviously need to learn Excel a little bit better. And then I need to find out really a better idea what the closing costs are and what fire insurance is. And I am actually meeting with the realtor next Thursday. So
nice. Okay.
He and I can have a little chat about what he sees happening. And then I'll probably call my insurance company to kind of get a better idea of what.
Yeah, get an estimate. You have an address. Say, hey, I'm looking at this. Make sure you tell them it's you want a landlord policy.
Okay.
Don't miscommunicate, because sometimes if they could give you a homeowner's policy, which is a different rate. So ask for a landlord policy.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Job. No, of course. Nice work. Keep it up. Arun, I have your hand being the next one up on my list.
Sure. Let me share my screen. Share screen. Morning, Mike. Good morning, and good morning, all.
Hi.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so type 221. So that's 2 beds, 2 bath, 1 car garage.
Yes.
Okay, I like it. All right.
Okay, so I took your standard sheet, and then I found a place like probably like this is an hour drive from where I live, and the rental market seems to be pretty strong there. I started collecting the details. I added a few columns here, like this is what type of house is here. I'm looking for 221, but sometimes I'm seeing 3 2s also.
Okay.
And there are few houses with HOAs, and HOAs sometimes it seems to be pretty high, so I added a column for that one.
Good
and
idea.
This is the total square feet, and this is the per square feet price.
Sure.
Added a column for when it was built. It's all 70s and 80s buildings in that area, nothing new, all these ones. And a posted date, and then Excel formula to see to calculate the days on market.
Sure.
So this is to see like kind of, this is a flood zone. If it's a flood zone, the insurance will be generally, pretty high.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be outside that flood zone area.
Okay. All right.
And then a little bit of comments here based on what I see on the pictures or based on the description. So the first one was the price was really nice, but it was a sinkhole with some roof new changes. They said they have all the estimates for all those things together. It's a 30 repair. Another one was a contractor gone. So I don't want to take any of these things for the first one without having much experience for those things. So kind of that's why it's marked in red.
I like that.
To avoid.
Yep.
One thing I start noticing is though the market has a lot of houses the one which kind of the one which I'm showing interesting, that seems to be going on on contract pretty soon. So that's
you're only a few days into this, and I hope that's something all of us start to understand is when you start seeing a property you're interested in and it goes fast, means you're onto something, right? That means other experienced investors are seeing the same things. So, that's not a bad thing that you identified that.
Sure, yeah, thanks. And pretty much rest of the things are same. The closing cost, I put 3%. It says, in Florida that the average is 2.56. That's average closing cost. And then the down payment, I fixed it to 20%. And mortgage payment at 8%, interest rate, insurance and tax together at 2%. And
the mortgage payment, is that interest only calculation?
Looks like no, it's the
I think that's interest. K2 minus L2.
That's
an interest only. No, that looks like an interest. So I put in the base formula. You may just be using the base formula.
Okay.
The base formula is interest only because not everybody's an Excel wizard, and some people don't know how to use the payment functionality.
Okay.
So realize that, that is an interest only calculation that I see there. There is a formula for a payment.
Okay.
That if you can use it, you know how to use it, please do. Otherwise, just go to the mortgage calculator and do the calculation. So what I guess I'm saying is put in the full payment unless you are getting an interest only deal, which, maybe if you're getting seller financing, you can.
Okay. No, I'll change to the payment with interest. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that.
No problem.
All right. And then property management at 10%, and the reserves, vacancy, all those things, that's also 10%. Other utilities monthly, if there are any repairs, I'm taking it in upfront.
Yes.
So unless there is an HOA, I don't seem to be have any other the monthly expenses, the tenant should be paying like the utilities, loan, all those stuff.
They should, yep. At least in California. Yep. Okay.
So
all right.
And rest everything is same, and the yield seems to be, it's few of them which had those issues, the sinkhole repair, the maintenance one, those are positive, but most of them, there was one, I saw it, by the time I saw it, it was in pending. Yeah. But this was posted for a lower price. I'm not sure, I don't know why that was posted. There was nothing on the description where I could see, why this was posted for a lower square feet price.
Is it close enough where you could go drive by and see? Could you drive? I don't know how close you are to this area.
I'm almost an hour away. I will check this when I go to this area next time.
Yeah. So again, if folks, if you're going through your list and your buy box is, 30 minutes from where you live, and I would see a hot property like this, I would probably go see it. I would do a drive-by. If it's an hour away or 2 hours, what I would do is create a list and, maybe once a month, go see it. So as you're going through these first 90 or 100 days and it's, an hour away, do yourself a favor and identify the ones that you think are good and go see them. Identify the ones that you think are bad and go see them. Validate with on-the-ground information.
Okay.
Yeah. Generate a list. Okay. And then the other thing, I think adding a comments field just for your first raw comments would be good. Like for that one that was a good deal, like that one, I would have put in my comments section, ooh, I think I found one. And then, oh, shoot, it's pending already, right? I would have probably put that in that column. Oh, this one looks good.
Yeah.
All right. Can you scroll to the right again so I can see the rest again? Yeah, I think a comments field would be good.
Okay, sure. I'll add the comments.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or questions you have for me?
No, I'm seeing all yields coming negative. I believe once I have more exposure to that area the houses comes in, that's where we can adjust on the price and see how to make it positive.
Yeah, the whole idea of this is just to keep going, learn. You also have some assumptions in here which you could tweak lower, right? You have taxes, insurance, all of that. But at the end of the day, we should all know it's tough to cash flow at 8% mortgage rates. But what we'll be able to do here is we'll be able to figure out, okay, what can I change? Like for example, I just want to see what happens on row 8. Can you take closing costs from 6,600 to 0 just for fun? Oh, wow. Still negative.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You can put it back. I just wanted to see, because sometimes just like in that example, what was I doing? I was making the seller pay the closing cost.
Yeah.
In that example. So again, these are all variables we can get to play with when we're deeper into this. Closing costs, lower price, lower, rate buy downs, all of those things. But I like what you have here. I like as a start. Add comments, which you already have. Also start creating the list of properties. Go see it once a month if it fits your schedule. Go see the good, go see the bad, validate what you're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it so far.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead and stop sharing. There we go. Arun. Adam C., your hand's up next, at least on my list.
Okay. Are you able to see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I had mine set up wrong, I believe, because I was just essentially bringing everything in and then just pulling some of them over to the yield side.
Okay.
And so I'm going to change it back to the way kind of everybody else is doing it. It looks better that way. But so I've had a lot of stuff. So I've been trying to do it.
So let me just get this right. So again, you basically pull in a raw dump from a file, you dump it into this Excel sheet. That's what you're doing. And then you pull out of this into the other one?
I bring everything in, like my buy box, and I go through and bring it all in and everything. And then I was only bringing over the yield ones from the area because I know the ones that I would, like I have in here, like certain neighborhoods.
Okay.
Like that just wouldn't work, or places that I wouldn't have a rental because I already have one in the area. And then I was just bringing over like select ones that I would consider. But I'm going to go back and do all of them just so I can get a better idea of the average.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, which is what I should have been doing. But regardless, so what I have, like square foot, basic stuff, bed, bath type. I have the comments, and like I said, I live in the area, was born and raised here. So
nice.
And then I've done the yield calculation on them, which I won't need that because I'm going to do it on all of them.
Right.
Date added, list date when it was actually listed, and then I have like a status thing for some of the ones that are under contract, did a price cut, or pulled, or like homes that were pulled and then relisted, stuff like that.
Nice. I like that.
Okay. And then I have a weird separate thing because I'm also looking at business properties, but that's different. Okay. And then I just have your basic yield sheet here.
Okay.
So.
All right. Comments. Let's see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's kind of basic. I'm going to take some of the things from this recording, go back. Some of the other people are much better with Excel. So I'm going to try and add some of their stuff in here. But is there anything you see that I'm missing? I wanted to ask about this one, the expenses / vacancy. Is this just like what your turnover expenses are going to be when you switch out tenants? Is that what that is? And then like you average over the month?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I think I have 10% in there. You got to have something. Zero is not okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I do all the make ready up front. Turnover in my houses is like averages 8 years. Okay. So I'm just trying to accumulate money to be used for problems. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, like I said, my stuff's pretty basic. I don't think I have anything super special about it.
Tell me about credits. What are you thinking there? What do you have for credit?
I was just putting in here some of the homes that were struggling more. I had talked to in the local real estate group. They had said what some of the homes that were in a little worse shape. They had said what people currently were doing because my market, in certain areas when I talked to them, they said that the deals were selling at full price, but people were really starting to take haircuts. And in my area, kind of what you had discussed, it's a lot of landlords that kind of bought when I did, like almost 10 years ago. Our area has it's either almost gone up 100% or it's over 100% up. So a lot of the properties, like in my review list, there's a bunch in here like that show like people that had it as a rental, high rental area that are selling, that are just, instead of when the tenants turn over, they're selling their rentals.
Interesting. Okay.
So there's a lot of that in my area, actually, because I know where a bunch of them are, and you can look at the stuff and see that they were listed for rent and then rented for the last like 8, 9, 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And now they're selling them.
You know, one thing I would do, because this is something I hope everybody starts to uncover as they get more into their areas. If you can identify areas or a property that's owned by a tired landlord, that's, my word, you can call them whatever you want. I might reach out and talk about seller financing, right? Maybe you can pay a little bit more, but get a lower interest rate.
Okay.
Again, it doesn't always work, but you don't know if you don't ask. I was talking or communicating with Lance Lambert from Fortune the other day, and he actually asked me, he goes, I'm starting to hear from real estate agents, that seller financing is picking up. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've been hearing about it for the last 30 days. More and more sellers are fixated on a price, but they're willing to give lower interest rates because they think 8% is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things you get to play with in, I don't know, another 30 or 40 days is like, what would happen if I paid full price, but I got a 5% mortgage, right? These are the variables you can start playing with. Just, something to think about.
Okay. All right. Is there anything you see missing here besides the vacancy, which I think you said about 10% is what you do?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah. Vacancies, expenses. I'm just looking.
Okay.
No, that's basically my basic. I mean, the other thing I think I said earlier is I would add days on market. I think that's going to be I think that's important this cycle. It wasn't important.
Is that okay?
Last time.
Would you just leave list date or is there a way in it? I'll ask. I have another Excel person I could ask, but like I'm just wondering, can you take the list date and have something where Excel currently continues to update it as you go?
Does the math? You can. Yeah. It's called a formula, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have somebody set that up for me. But okay, and I'll get that right here. I guess on the okay. I think that's everything.
Okay. All right. Nice work. Thank you, Adam. Next up, we got to lower hands. So Arun, I think you went already. I'm going to lower Adam's hand. Next up is Serge in my list. Hi, Serge. I think you're still on mute, Serge. I think.
Yep. Hello.
Oh, hi.
So, let me find out. Okay.
There we go.
I still see this.
We see your spreadsheet.
Yeah. Okay. So, I selected my neighborhood, and I create spreadsheet where I update it manually or how many days it's on the market, what I don't like. But if I create formula, it will be sold, it will calculate how many days. So I don't like this. I need update, but it's easier when it's sold. Update once.
Yeah, it's just sold. Turn it red. Yeah, whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have here date listed, is price.
So tell me about
price?
your price change column. What do you have there?
Price change. So it's sometimes they reduce price, sometimes they increase price. So I put here and.
So you're telling me somebody lowered the price $100? Is that what that says?
It's no, it's 100. It's wait a second.
Is it $100,000?
Yeah, it's 100,000.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say some agents playing games. $100. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's K, 100K. Okay.
Yeah, it's K. Then this information from down I took from your formula, I think. Estimate cost also closing cost from your formula. This I have no idea. I just
that's what
flipped. I put 0. 10,000. I think it's really small, but I put 10,000 if it's. But really, it's maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're in a pretty expensive world. Just looking at this list price, I would guess 0, 25, 70. Again, these are all guesses. These are things you'll learn as you go forward. But I think in a market, I mean, I don't even think you could do a trash out for 10 grand, given these prices.
Yeah.
So I think 25 better. Okay.
Okay. Then next, it's total cost due, total cash. Interest rate I took from Realtor.com, but it's probably, if it will be investment property, it will be different.
It's going to be higher. It's going to be higher. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday I talked to, maybe 2 days ago, with my credit union about pre-approval, but I think I need to talk to some realtors around and do it in 1 day, and then I will have more accurate information how much I will pay.
Yeah, again, in the beginning, putting in a number, making it standard for all of them is fine. Once you start getting 30, 45 days, you can refine those numbers. I think using 7.991 is fine for now. And then home insurance, is that a formula, or did you call somebody?
I put home insurance, your formula, and compare with Realtor.com. It's absolutely same.
Oh, good. All right.
Same numbers.
Okay. So yeah, at some point, I think it was Karen earlier, at some point, Serge, take one of these addresses, call your insurance company, say, hey, I'm thinking about buying investment property, get a quote. I mean, just validate that these numbers are close. Use it as a reason to learn. So it doesn't have to be today, doesn't have to be tomorrow, but sometime in the next couple of weeks, click one of these properties and get an insurance quote.
Yes, same I want to do with a property management company. Call them and try to estimate. This is all formulas from your spreadsheet. Then, from your spreadsheet, it's this. Okay.
Where'd you get the rent from?
Rent I took from Rentometer.
Okay.
Then monthly cash flow. Then smallest one I put in different color.
Sure.
And then street address, bedroom, bathroom. So I select not more than 3 bedroom and not less. That's just not more than 3.
Okay.
And then I got this like average. It's 1343.
Yeah, negative minus 13. Negative 13.
Yeah, negative.
Yeah, we don't do alligators here. That's good. Okay.
This I didn't finish yet, but mostly it's like no C. It's A, B.
Oh, okay. So pretty expensive.
Maybe all of them B. Maybe all of them.
Yeah, I would think San Jose. This is pretty close to where I live. Okay.
Yeah, it's like my area is this.
Got it. Okay.
Near my house. Okay. That's it, I think.
I like multifamilies on both sides, empty lot behind. I think those are good notes. I see. Underground room. I'm not sure, like a basement.
Yeah, it's basement. Usually it's
wow.
I nowhere see basement, but somewhere, for me, it's like excitement. Wow, one more room.
Yeah, one more room. Yeah. All right.
Usually it's like slab.
Yeah, exactly.
No
California, we don't have basements. Very rare. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Some of them flipped. I see it's by date when it's last time sold, and it's like just recently they make some changes and resell.
Yeah. The other thing I think, again, I haven't talked about this, but this is really for everyone. One of the things that you're going to start to understand is for like looking at the spreadsheet here, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Does it rent for a different amount than a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage? So these are things that you get to find. In my experience, bedrooms count the most, bathrooms next, parking next. A lot of folks thinks it's square footage. I could tell you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage that's 1,600 square feet in my area rents the same if it's 1,200. For me, again, bedrooms, bath, parking. Parking in my area could be 2-car attached, 1-car attached, one or 2-car detached, and there is a difference in price. Carport, no garage, or street parking. So one of the things to start tracking is parking. Not all parts of the country have that, but that's just something to watch. Okay.
But here I didn't see any like click yet. Why they sell some houses on the 7th day on the market? It's already like contingent. Some 124 days and then sold.
That's exactly.
I don't see any.
This is your backyard, right? This is where you live, Serge? So what I would do when I see stuff like that, I would drive by that 7-day house, and then I would drive by the 124 house and see if I could figure it out.
Okay.
I'd be like, why did this one sell, this one out? Is it a different school? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a different school, like high school, or I mean, you never know. But when you see an odd thing, especially if it's in your backyard, go see it. Because that's more, this is about not only the spreadsheet, but getting on the ground and finding those odd things. Because maybe the value's in the 124 days on market. I don't know. But those are things to go find. The other thing I would try to do is you have a house listed row 34. It was days on market 125, which is 4 months.
Yeah.
I'm guessing 645 was the original list price.
Yes.
And it sold for 640. I would try to figure that out. I would be like, why didn't that go for less? Was it in states? I mean, there's a story there. I would go try to figure that out.
This also sold. Same price. I also curious. They didn't change.
Yeah. That's, again, these are all things. The market is changing, and I think as you do your homework through the end of the year, days on market is going to become interesting. But right now, looking at your sheet, it doesn't look like it's a big discount, right? Days on market, it doesn't seem to be giving you a lower discount. So Alex asked a question that I'll answer here. In the beginning, Alex, like, I would keep everything on your spreadsheet. Like, even if it's sold, I would keep it there. I may change the color. I may sort it to the bottom. But in the beginning, keep everything. Now, once it's sold, I take it off because I know the market's much better. But in the beginning, I would keep it. I would keep it. All the data you capture during the next 90 days, keep it.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Alex.
Yeah, also, I call several realtors.
Oh, nice.
Kind of ask them that I am beginner investor, try to find something until 500 and other areas, not even here if they have in like Sacramento. And then I try to find some meetups, but when I participate, they try to sell some course. It's not really, but some information.
Yeah, you got to really watch
I did
the meetups.
some
Yep.
Open houses. I went get in an open house, but that's not my initial like I just try to find out what this business looks like.
Exactly. One of the things I would do with open house, one of again, since you're in your backyard, you're a lot closer than some of the other folks we've gone through. Is if you find a property that's move-in condition and it's an open house, I would actually go research that. And I would try to tell myself, was this a flip? If it was a flip, how long did it take? What did they change? These are all things that can become valuable. It's possible that somebody bought it 20 years ago and they're just selling it. That's fine. But again, this is about understanding the pulse and how your buy box is changing. So again, since you're so local, do the extra work, right? You go to an open house. Don't only go to the open house and look at how pretty it is. Research the history. Who's the seller? When did it sell? When did it last transact? You can do all this extra stuff because you're local.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Okay. Yes.
And then I like how you have one that says
you.
removed. You have one that says removed. I like that.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see
just
more
removed
of those.
from listing.
Yeah, it's going to happen a lot more. It's okay. A lot of
Okay.
sellers, well, I can tell you why. A lot of sellers are putting out something at wish pricing. They don't have to sell. So they're going to take their properties off the market. And that makes perfect sense. So I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So Amy, whoops, where's Amy's question? I missed it.
Stop sharing.
Thanks. So you're good, Serge. Any questions for me?
That's it. Thank you so much.
No, of course. You're on to something. All of you are making great progress. So Amy asked the questions about checking school districts. How can Serge investigate why one house sold quickly versus slowly? That's where you start to have conversations. You can see a lot going on, but sometimes, I mean, you never know. I would try to talk to the listing agent. You should be able to see that. But yeah, I would definitely look at schools, areas, neighborhood streets. Again, it is really weird. Some houses, because the beauty of selling houses, you only need one buyer. I've seen some houses sell quickly for the strangest reasons. One story I remember is the next door neighbor wanted to buy the house because they wanted to tear down the fence and make their backyard bigger. I mean, you never know. But anytime you see an odd behavior, a house sells quickly where the other ones aren't, become a detective. Go try to figure it out, especially if you're local. All right. Thank you, Serge. Next up, Jason.
What's going on, Mike?
Hi, man. How are you?
Good, good. Let me pull this up here. All right. So let me know if I have to zoom into the cells as well.
Nah, you're pretty good, I think.
So I kind of have it. I watched the buy box video you put up on the thing. So I started going a little bit ahead with like creative financing on the side, but maybe for the purposes of this, we can probably just stick to the main details over here.
I can tell, Jason, you like Excel. You're a little bit comfortable in Excel, I'm thinking.
Too comfortable. I've been on the accounting background. But yeah, so I've kind of consolidated some of the details just to kind of get a simple view over here. But I'll
let me just look, because tell me about column C.
Column C.
That's cool.
Yeah. So what I'm tracking with each property is what it was originally listed for, and then what they are dropping into like current to date, like whatever it is, whenever I look at the buy box, just to kind of see like the trends. Like some of them I see like there's one I saw like every 2 weeks they're dropping it 10K.
There you go.
Kind of keeping an eye on that and just noticing.
So do you note that somewhere? Like
I will note it. Yeah. So I started doing this with a different area. So when I switched to Riverside like 2 weeks ago, I haven't started noting that, but that's something I plan on tracking.
I would definitely note down when prices are dropped. Yeah. Because I think that will become valuable in 60 or 90 days. Like in my, so how would I use that? Let's just say, for example, you notice in your market, the first price drop is after 2 weeks. I'm just making this up, but this is like, let's say it's 30 days just for easier math.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I found 30 days is where first price drop is. I would write my first offer at day 27 or 28. I would write the offer ahead of the price drop.
Yeah.
Because what will happen is you know that agent and the seller are probably talking about lowering the price. If you put in a number that's lower, maybe you can get ahead of that negotiation.
Right.
As opposed to waiting, because every time a price drops, it goes to the top of the list, more sharks come out. So once I know the average where it kind of drops for the first time, I would write offers a day or two ahead of that, just FYI.
Okay, that's smart. Let's see here. So yeah, so that's like the first couple of columns, and I have my criteria over here. I kept it pretty open, because not as many homes open. Sure. Most of the homes I have listed here are just in the 92505 area code, but that was only like 20 years plus active listings. So I expanded it as well to 92501.
Where did you go when you added that extra zip code? How big?
So I actually called a property manager group out there just to kind of figure out some of the hotter markets. And 92501 is like their downtown area, and they said it's always renting. Those are the quickest ones off their listings.
How long is? Okay, there you go. All right. I like it. Okay. Let's see, questions or comments. What do you got there? See, that's the kind of stuff I like row 5, no curb appeal. These are the things to kind of like their feelings, but they will actually mean something later. I like stuff like that. Oh, has pool, row 9.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. I'm like, nope.
Yeah,
no pools for me.
That's how I felt. I felt like it'd just be an additional expense, and I don't know how much.
Well, for me, it's so much risk, man. You never want to get that phone call, right? It's like,
yeah. No. Okay, that's good to know.
That's just me.
So yeah,
what are you hiding
here?
All right.
So my whole cash requires down payment, repairs, and closing.
Are you house hacking, or what are you doing? Down payment 10%.
I am open to house hacking, but I'm just looking at it as just straight up initially. And then if I have to get creative to see the best way to get more yields or an investment, then I'll explore it as an option.
Got it. All right.
But consistently applying 10% across the board.
That's fine. Yeah, as long as it's consistent. Yeah.
Repairs get a little iffy, just because I don't really have as much knowledge as far as like if I have to do the whole floors, how much does that cost? If I have to paint, how much does that cost? So
yeah, in the beginning, figure out A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And as you go through, so I mean, that was my area of weakness. I really didn't start getting decent at that for a couple of years, but how it will start is you'll have a property you're interested in, you'll go see it, and you'll arrange a contractor or two to come with you, and they'll give you a bid, right? It's something you're too early to do that now, but yeah, I would definitely do A, B, or C, and note what A is. A is move in, B is lipstick, and C is full gut.
Okay, and don't put a number on it yet, though.
Well, I think I would have a legend somewhere, and then I would just put the numbers in, just so you're not, because you need the number,
right,
to help with the calculation.
Okay, yeah, for sure. But yeah, and then closing was 1.5. That's what I was putting when I was working with a lender out here.
Yeah, in California, that makes sense.
Yep. Then the monthly out. So this is I used a 9% mortgage rate to get conservative. Sure. Tax insurance 1.5. That was quoted that a few months ago. I'm not sure if that's still it, with given California insurance, but
you got to start somewhere. I mean, once you get a list, you can refine, or once you get one you like and you want to call an insurance agent, you get a quote. Again, ask for a landlord policy, not homeowner.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And then property management, 10% straight up, similar to what you did on the vacancy side as well. Yep. And then the utilities and others bracket is where it gets a little interesting, because it's where I'm kind of housing the HOA fees.
That's fine.
Again, my area is Riverside, and a lot of the homes have that HOA.
Put it in. Yep.
So that's where I'm tracking. Then I'm also notating it. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I have the yield. If bought at the current price and how things were based off everything else, I have it there. And then
so what do you have for rent? Because these are stupid yields.
Yeah. So these rent numbers I pulled from Zumper.com. And I also kind of went in and just started looking at active rental listings just to kind of see how accurate it was.
Yeah.
Based off the dimensions. And for the most part, it wasn't too far off.
Okay.
So I tried to be pretty conservative with the estimate. If it's in a nicer area or a nicer home, I want to make it a couple hundred, but for the most part.
No, yeah, you don't want to be over. I mean,
frankly,
it's better to be under on rent than over. because you don't want to. If you let's just say the first row you put in 2,500 and you only got $2,000, that could totally screw it up. I'd rather you put in $2,000 than 2,500.
Right.
So that's fine.
But yeah, that's pretty much how I'm tracking. As you can see,
California is nuts.
Yeah. So, I saw a lot of other folks' spreadsheets, and it's just like, it's hard when you're kind of looking at.
So hold on. So median price is 420. That's the median price for the zip code.
That's what it said. Yeah.
I don't see any houses on this list under 520 or 420. Sorry.
Yeah, the lowest. Let me see. There might be one if I sort down. Yeah, no, the lowest is 450.
So help me understand that. So median price, as you know, is middle.
Yeah. So with the median price, I pulled that more so from like a website rather than like what's current the median price based off what active listings are. I'm not. Maybe it was out of date. Well, as it's looking, it's a pretty.
Well, it also could be. It could be the whole area, not these two zip codes, right? I don't know these zip codes from anything. I just think it's odd that the median's 420 and you don't have a single listing below $500,000.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I also was kind of curious, like.
So what are these housing variables? Do you like beds, baths? Do you have that somewhere?
Yeah. So I have a lot of just like things that I probably won't look at every day, but I hit them here. So I have like
So you have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
Yes.
Above the median home price.
Yes. And it's not like nice or anything. It's not the prettiest home.
Oh, and it's a flip. Or no, maybe not. 2 years? No, it's probably not a flip. 2 years.
Yeah. And then I'm tracking things like the history a little bit over here.
Yeah, if you have the data, get it, right? Yeah. Okay. That's yeah.
Yeah, pretty rough.
Yeah, no joke. Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I'm following.
That's weird. I mean, again, that just bugs me that you have nothing below the median. Let me just go. Where's my Realtor app? I don't know these zip codes at all, so I'm just going to put in one of them.
Yeah, sure thing.
92501. Oh, there's only 2 listings. Oh, I have too many filters on. That's why. 43. Sort. Lowest. Hold on. I'm just doing something on my phone real quick. All right. So there's a 3-2 for $400,000 pending. Some pendings. So again, I just put in. So these must all be active then.
Yeah, this is all active listings, not like the under contract or pending.
So I would probably add, because I'm looking at the so there's a bunch pending. Like the first active is 480, but there's a whole bunch pending. I would probably add those as you're learning.
Okay.
Just to figure out what's moving, because clearly some things are moving.
Right. Yeah, I think there was like 20 in just that one area code that are either under contract.
That's weird.
Pending.
Man. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, as you're kind of looking at this, I had the same feelings. It's just like, man, is this really what the market is? And it does get a bit discouraging. But I understand we're just learning the skill right now.
Right. So the whole idea is everything you have here, I love. It's actually more than most people need, frankly. But as you go through this, right, you're learning the skill. At the end of this, one of the options could be, can't buy here. But then you have the skill, and the next time you do this, it'll be twice as fast.
Gotcha.
But we don't know yet, right? These numbers look horrible, but we don't have all the data yet. It's okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. So I have like just again on the creative finances side.
Tell me about that.
Talk about the
50-40-10. I like it.
Kind of thinking about the disrespectful offers, 20% right off the bat, and going down with the seller financing with the 50-40-10. And just seeing like if I applied those 2 things without touching anything else, like how would that impact the yield and the deal?
Exactly. This is where most people will get day 75, day 80. But this is this is the stuff that is coming. We are going to find people who have days on market of 62 days and they have to sell. These are that's what I'm trying to find. I will write lots of off. Like you have a list of stuff that doesn't cash flow.
Yeah.
Inside this list, I am convinced there is somebody that has to sell and the property's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be ripe for the 50, 40, 10. They're going to be right for a 30% off list. So while these numbers are discouraging, look how much they change.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's definitely, and then what I try to do is I combine this with those properties, and I think you talked about it earlier. Those that have like they're held for a while, they have a lot of equity.
Yes, exactly.
And those are ones I'll probably try to target first.
Exactly. Yes.
So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, I think there was a question from someone, Jason. If you were going to coach somebody up on how to get better in Excel, what would you tell them? Do you have other than becoming an accountant? That's probably not an option for most of us.
YouTube. There's some like, for the most part, let me see if I can jump into some of these formulas. For the most part, I just really stick with like if formulas. Like if I go to this one over here, it looks complicated, but if you're good at math, or honestly, if you just say, hey, how do I create an if formula to show different options based off different numbers or different ranges, a lot of these are online. You could just copy and paste it. But YouTube, if you just type in your question, someone usually has a video out there. Like I kind of struggled with this if formula initially, and I Googled it and figured it out in like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. I would say I think it was Karen earlier is like, I don't get Excel. Karen, don't look at this spreadsheet. You don't need if formulas.
Yeah, I'll give you a headache.
Yeah, it'll give you a headache. Again, this is like learning the skill. Excel. And by the way, while Jason looks like a rock star, there are people that put Jason to shame. You can get really crazy with Excel.
For sure.
Yeah. So, okay. I like it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Any questions for me?
No. Thank you for the tip on tracking the under contract and pending. I'll add those.
Yeah, because I think you're going to see. I think you really want the heartbeat of the market, and you need to add the pendings.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, very cool. All right, Rod, your hand is up next. And go, folks. If anybody else wants to keep going through this, just raise your hand. I've only got Rod and Ben Reith up next. So if you want to do it, let's not be shy. This is for you.
Good morning.
Hey, Hi.
Morning. Let me just get hold of that screen. And there it is, if you can see it.
Not yet.
Okay. Oh, I know why. Now do you have it?
It's coming.
You got it?
It's coming. Rod is sharing. Rod, come on. Come on, internet, speed up. Or Zoom, or whoever I get to blame. Yes, I see it.
Okay, good. We picked, I say we, Catherine's my wife, obviously.
Yes.
We picked 89135 because it's an area we know we were in 89138. We're not there now.
This is Vegas, right?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Up in Summerlin area.
Nice.
So we just picked this
nice.
as to do the basics.
Yep.
So pick the date it was listed, days on the market, and that actually does update daily automatically.
Nice.
There is a formula for that. I don't know whether I can bring it up. There it is. If anybody is interested, that would make it automatically come up.
Nice work.
Next column is active or whatever. So we've got active, and then CL, and the date is it closed on such and such a date.
Oh, that's good. So sold.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, the dates are in fact back to front for the US. That's the days first and the month after. It's just the way my brain works.
That's okay.
And
that's awesome.
that one was just removed. The listing was removed. I can't see why. This one changed into a relisted as a rental.
Interesting. Okay. That's good data. That's all good data. I like it.
Then we have addresses, of course.
Yep.
Here, this is just a column which, when I go through the realtor.com, it just enables me to see if it's still listed or whether it's gone.
Okay.
It's just a cross check, if you like.
Yeah.
This one's a rental and $29.50.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Notes.
just
I like it.
a note.
The more data, the better.
Square
being a
footage,
detective. Yep.
dollars a square foot, beds, baths, and reduced. So this is the amount it has been reduced. You could work out what the original listing was, obviously, but this is the price. Next to it is the reduced price.
Got it.
So it was
that's the current price.
Yeah. So this was originally listed for what, 560,
right,
59,
559.
More than that. Yeah.
Or no, 70 or whatever. Yeah, 70, I get it.
Yeah. So that made me think, well, okay, maybe these people, if it's been on for a long time, they might be more motivated, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This one has been on for 67 days. So maybe that's why that's dropped.
Exactly. The other one above 170 days. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Rental listing also, this particular address.
Oh, had a price drop in rent.
Yes, as well. So
that's
that
good
kind
information.
of tends to suggest a bit of desperation, perhaps. Okay. What do we got? Price, down payment, 25%, mortgage amount, of course. Now, I left the other columns totally blank because getting straight to the yield, even without any other costs like property management, repairs, and expenses, we're all negative.
Yeah.
So there was no point in making it more negative because they were non-starters to begin with. Closing costs 3%, total cash, principal and interest. I worked it out at 8.5%.
So show me. I'm sorry. Where's the negative? I mean, I know they're all negative, but
we're coming across to the right.
Oh, going to the right. Okay, I see it. Okay.
And you can see they're all going to end
there
up.
We go.
HOAs. Most of the property in that area are
in Vegas,
HOAs.
Yeah.
So these are blank. And even with these having no cost in theory,
right?
And that's 3,000. I'll put that all the way down as a roughly accurate.
Okay.
But even if that's more than one could get, it's still negative.
Yeah, still negative. Yep.
So
okay.
That was the purpose of that. And then any comments we're going to go at the very end.
Yeah.
So that's where it sits so far. I'm glad somebody asked, or you answered. If they have closed, you'd leave them in still.
Yes.
For the purposes of the spreadsheet like that one.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely leave them because it will tell you at what point things are selling. And I think if the market gets as slow as I expect in Q4, it will be interesting. What is selling? When does the price drop happen? You know, when do they start to remove them? I expect by Thanksgiving, I think most of us will see more removals, because people will wait for the spring, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I haven't done them as yet, but I want to reorder some of the columns and see it sort of puts things in a more easily viewable sense.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody's brain works differently. I would definitely order it so it's easy for you to consume. I totally agree with organizing it, how your brain works. I would challenge you a little bit on column O.
Okay.
Make ready. I would probably at least do A, B, or C.
Okay.
Just like A, move-in condition. B, lipstick, right? Whatever that is. And then C, the beater. Even if you don't want to go to the point of putting in numbers, I think it will be important to see what is selling. Are clean properties selling? Are beaters selling? I think that would be interesting. And if you don't categorize that somehow, it would be tough to see because this list is going to get pretty long. I never trust my memory. Yeah, I never trust my memory.
Yeah. No, that's very valid.
Michael?
Yes. Hi, Catherine.
Hi. I had a quick question. Someone else's spreadsheet, they had a column for, and they allowed 10% total for, I think, and I wanted to make sure that I had this right. They allowed 10% total for expenses and vacancy. Was I correct on that? And is that what you kind of normally allow? And
so for me in houses, I do 10% vacancies and repairs because again, I do all my repairs up front and my average turnover on houses is 8 years, just less than 8. If you're going to start doing duplexes or your areas, you can go higher. I have 10%. I have history and knowledge. If you want to be more conservative, you could make that, 18 or something combined. I don't think it's a problem separating them. I think most people would separate them. But in my spreadsheet, I tried to keep it down to one view so I don't have to scroll left and right. But in the beginning, I don't think it's wrong to have 2 columns.
So you would allow, let's say you do have 10% for expenses and vacancy. If your rent is $2,000, you would allow $200 then.
I would allow 200. I would put in 200, maybe 240. But in the beginning, maybe you want to do, 150 each. Right. So you may even want to go a little bit higher, a little more conservative.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
I think it's better to be conservative than not. And then, everything should be a positive surprise if we can. I don't like negative surprises.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's where we're at with that right now. That's about the only one there that came up with anything, even without the expenses. And it's just the area, of course.
Yeah, Summerlin. Summerlin is a nice plot of dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at Summerlin for a couple of months and chose somewhere else. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's learning. I would definitely add the make ready, at least letters. I think comments would be good for you because I think you and certainly Catherine with her license, you might be able to get a little more data than others. Summerlin is also an area that flipping is pretty common. So I think I would start to identify what properties were flipped versus not. I think that might be interesting. I'm just trying to give you more work so you can keep diving and learning more.
Quite right. Yeah, sure. And there will be, I'm thinking, to save a lot of work in the future would be to arrive at a price that the mortgage calculation is going to be less than the rent. So there'll be a price point at which properties are below that. They're the ones to look at. The ones that are above it is pointless looking at.
Yeah, well, yes and no. There will absolutely be a number that makes sense for the rent. You are absolutely correct. Where I get a little uncomfortable is that number doesn't have to be the list price. It has to be the price that the seller says yes to, if that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense. Yes, sure.
That's why days on market. That's why condition. That's why all these other variables are important, because I want to know the properties that might be open to an offer that makes sense to me as a buyer. And the pretty clean properties in Summerlin aren't going to make sense.
Right.
But there might be an ugly one. There might be one on the wrong side of the street. There might be something. And those are the ones I write my crazy offers on.
That's good stuff.
Very cool.
Sure. So that's pretty much it where we're at.
I like it.
I did like I've forgotten his name already. The chap that had got the creative financing columns.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
That was Jason, I think. Yeah, Jason.
All right. So yeah, that's some food for thought for me to introduce
that
as well.
I hope that is something everybody gets to in 45 or 60 days, right? The fact that Jason is there is already great for Jason, but I don't want anybody on this to think you have to be where Jason's at yet. We're not there yet. We're walking. Jason is jogging. It's okay. We'll all jog eventually. It's okay. Everybody's okay where they're at today.
Sure.
Yeah. But it was creative. I liked it. I will admit that was sexy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions, Rod or Catherine?
Not from me so far.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Keep at it.
No, thank you.
All right. Who was next? All right. Van Reeth. There he is.
Hi, Michael. So let me share my screen. See if I can get it.
And folks, don't forget, he's the last one with the hands up. We'll end early, but you've got me for another half hour. So if anybody else wants to ask questions or show their spreadsheet, please do.
Let me know when you see it.
I can see it.
Okay. So I'm doing Long Beach, California, where I live.
Yep.
So I have this street, the price These orange ones were pending, and so they're in orange.
I like it.
To just track. I didn't track. There's only a couple that reduced prices, so maybe I could track that.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting to add that color or some kind of indication.
Yeah, there's maybe only 2 or 3 that changed the pricing. So, but then the other ones, the longer ones just sat there.
That's it. Wow, you got some in 174 days. Damn.
Yeah, there's
that's like 6 months.
This one right here is
379 days. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's areas in the Long Beach that like these cheaper ones.
Yeah,
they're sitting a little more, just because the area is not as nice. And then where I live is this 90807 area, and those seem to be in the 800s, like going off the market really quick. Like this one I saw
flying off the shelf.
Yeah, and then this one right here were like 2 houses down, and they were both estate sales, and so those ones, like all they did was clean it up and paint, and then they were trying to sell. I'm not sure if they were flippers or if they were new home
family
buyers,
members or whatever. Yeah. Okay,
something like that. So those ones seem to be going fast. The ones that are in this 90807 and 90815 tend to sell quickly for a higher price, it looks like. But some of them will need renovations.
Sure.
And the problem is that they're all kind of older homes. And so I know my house that I got into, we had to redo the electrical just because it was knob and
oh wow, knob and tube.
Yeah, knob and tube. And so half of it, like the newer part of it, was newer electrical, but then the old part of the house we had to redo. So
yeah,
that's kind of, so I think I spent 25,000 to redo that, to add a bunch of different things.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure if that's gonna play into how much these things. I know, like
it can. Yeah, but we'll get there.
Yeah. And some of them have like aluminum wiring. So yeah, that's kind of iffy too.
Yeah, so, aluminum usually change the pigtails at the end, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, these ones that are getting bought up quicker tend to be in the nicer areas. And so
that's just so you know, that's value, right? What is moving quick? What is slow? These are all things that you try to understand with the market. So congratulations. Good. That's good. Good that you're seeing that.
So I know other people don't like rating neighborhoods, and is there like a system that you use, or you just ignore that and look at only yield for?
I'm only looking at yield. I mean, over time, I have identified what markets, like Fresno has a city called Clovis, and it's like where all the A+ schools are. I looked at Clovis for, I don't know, 5 years, and nothing made sense.
Okay.
But there's a couple of areas just outside Clovis that are Clovis schools. Those made a lot of sense.
Okay.
As rentals.
So just on the outskirts of the like those kind of popular, nicer areas, right?
Yeah, you get basically, or at least I found, is you get to buy it for less, but you get the upside from rents.
Okay.
Again, I don't know. That was just my experience with because again, like Fresno's median's like 400 and Clovis is like 550 or something, 560.
Okay.
Noticeably higher, really small footprint. But I was able to find a couple of areas where I could get Clovis schools, but Fresno prices. And that made a great impact on rent or on yield.
So I do have one that's a prefab mobile home right here on the first one. I don't know if I should keep that on or not.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, more information is better.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, just note it, right? So you don't get confused in 3 weeks. Why is this one so cheap?
Yeah.
Right. So just note it somewhere. But yeah, I think all information is good.
Yeah. I think so. My search criteria was 3.2, under $1 million. And so it was getting kind of like things would pop off and on to get it over the 40 plus. It was going over 40 per properties in the search. So should I limit that a little more to like 950 or something?
So let me so you established an original search. It was below the threshold of 40, and now it's suddenly above 40. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
How much above 40?
Some days it's like 47, and then it drops down and goes to like 45.
I would keep the same search.
Okay.
Just because we're already. But what you've identified is interesting. Your buy box is slowly inventory is slowly growing. Now, what we all need to figure out is, I think transactions are slowing, thus there's not a lot of new inventory. It's just the couple of trickles you get each week aren't selling, so days on market will expand. That's what I think is happening across the country. You may be seeing it first in your buy box. So I would tell you to not change it. If it ever got to like 75 or 65 or something, we can revisit it. But if it stays below 50 and it comes back to 42, and I think that's frankly good information because it's highlighting that something is changing in your buy box.
Yeah. And so also these blue ones, they've taken, they put them on the market and then they just take them off really quickly. So I'm not sure what's happening with that. And then a couple of them.
No, hold on. So row 10. Yeah. Somebody put it on the market and it came off like 24 hours, or what do you mean?
Maybe 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you look them up to see if they sold?
No, it's off market. So at least that's what I can tell.
Yeah. So again, I think that's good information. This is what I think is happening across the country. You're getting some sellers to put them off in what I call wish pricing. Now, 10 days is really fast, 2 weeks. Okay. But they're saying, hey, am I getting any action? The real estate agent calls me back saying, sorry, no phone calls, no open houses, nobody's come. They take it off the market. They'll list in the spring. That's what I'm guessing is happening. So that's good information.
I think there's a couple of them that were like they wanted cash offers. I forget which one it was. But like the one that's 2% here, line 57. The owner wanted it needed a full gut job, it looks like. I'm not sure if that's the 40,000. I don't think that's
probably not enough, but it's okay. We're just starting. It's fine.
But they wanted a full cash offer, and then they took it off about a week. So looking at it, if a cash offer would make sense for yield, but that's a lot of money to put down.
No, I mean, I would put that money in a treasury and make 5%.
Yeah.
Let's have an honest conversation.
Yeah.
So, but but again, hold on. So again, in that, again, just try to play with the data you're uncovering.
Okay.
Just because a seller says they want cash doesn't really mean it has to be your cash, right? That might be an example. Again, I don't know this situation at all, but I might try that 50, 40, 10 thing, right? Well, what if I came in and gave you, 10% down, 50% first, and you carry a 40% second, just, for 5 years? Or, I mean, these are just, you can start getting creative. And again, the seller could say, no, no, you idiot, you didn't read the description. I want all cash. Well, great. Well, and then the other thing is, just because the seller wants cash at 9:30 doesn't mean you have to offer, right? I've done plenty of times where I've written multiple offers. Well, you know what? If you want cash, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'll give you $750. If you're willing to carry 50% second, I'll give you $870. Right? There's just sellers list is just an opinion. You have to write deals that make sense for you. All of us, not you specifically, but all of us. Only write deals that make sense for you. And that's kind of the process we're trying to get to.
Okay. So I did put 30% because I most likely will not live in the property. I don't know about closing costs, so I did it at 2.5. So
it's okay again, you at some point reach out to a title agent with a property address and ask for an estimate.
Okay. And then all these mortgage payments, you looked up it on a mortgage calculator.
Perfect. That's fine. There is a formula, but that's fine.
Yeah. It's easier once this got built out to just keep plopping the numbers in.
Perfect.
So
that's fine.
The tax insurance, I did leave it at the formula 15%.
1.5%.
Yeah, 1.5%. Sorry.
It's okay.
And I did leave this the property management, but if I did it myself, probably the yield would go down by
a little bit.
Yeah, like a percentage, or go up by positive percentage. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot of places in Long Beach have HOAs. So these, I think these are the only ones that had HOAs.
Oh, okay.
And then I left the expense vacancy at 10%.
Okay.
And everything seems like it's negative cash flow.
Yeah.
So I need to update some of these values, and the notes that I have are here. And that's kind of.
Yeah. So again, just keep doing what you're doing. All information is good. At the end of the day, these negative numbers may discourage you. You're just learning. At some point, 30 days from now, I will challenge you to go, okay, take row 22. What does it take to turn that -7 into a +5? And you'll find there's lots of ways to do it. You can lower the price. You can change the make ready cost. You can get seller credits. All of these things are possible. But at this point, the idea is just to get used to the daily repetition, get used to knowing what you don't know, what you need to dig in. Like for your example, closing costs is 2.5 right. Don't know. Great. Pick up the phone, call somebody. Where did you get rent from? Is that like Zumper or Rent-A-Meter or
Rent-A-Meter? Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. At some point, again, you'll call and validate because they can be off, but you don't know. And again, you live in this area. So earlier, I think it was Serge was living in the area. When you see something different or unique, go drive it. Go look at it. Kick rocks, as I call it, to see what's going on.
Okay. So like some of these ones, like I know I put down like it's on a corner lot, and it has like the ability to like add additional square footage, like either through an ADU or like a enclosed patio or something. And so I didn't put that into my calculations on like any repair costs. But then if I do add that, then the monthly rent would probably go up. So
I think that is something certainly I would notice. Certainly if you're in California, you're in Washington, and ADUs are approved. I would certainly note properties like that, especially in Long Beach, right? Like, and even San Jose, I would note that alley access, corner lots, things that make it easy to add another unit. I would definitely put that in the notes. I was talking with Thatch Nguyen the other day, and it's like that might prove to be the way a lot of California and Seattle or Washington investors add more units and produce noticeably higher returns is via ADUs. Just so you know, I've reached out to Derek, that ADU guy. I haven't got confirmation yet, but I'm trying to set him up for next week. If not next week, it'll be the week after, to come talk to this boot camp. Because I think ADUs are coming to a lot of the country. So I'm trying to get that set up as well.
So currently, ADUs, you can't get them financed, or can you?
Well, I don't know what you mean by fine. You mean like a construction loan, or
or some type of additional, I guess.
Yeah, so you could. There are DSCR lenders coming around to this because their business is so slow to do construction loans. They're expensive, right? We're talking double-digit rates, but they're out there, and they will allow you to burr into, like, get out of it into a traditional loan. So they're out there, but they're not cheap.
Yeah, nothing's cheap in California, so
nothing's
cheap
in California. Yeah, no joke, no kidding. Yeah.
Okay,
but back to your question, I would note properties that make that it, because not every property will work as an ADU, even if the lot's big enough. It's just not set up right where the first house is positioned.
Yeah.
So I would definitely note the ones that might be open to that.
Okay. I think that's it for me.
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
let's
Michael.
see if thank you. Let's see if anybody else raised their hands.
Hi, Michael. I have a question. Can I ask before the next person shares their spreadsheet?
Of course, Amy.
So like I was like hearing everyone's about everyone's spreadsheet, and I'm wondering, so after we set up the initial spreadsheet, and we already put down these listings, do we, like, for example, those days on market, do we have to like every day manually look up the status of all those listings, or just mainly rely on, for example, like if you use Zillow, then Zillow will let you know if a status changes, and then you would go back and update it accordingly? Just wondering, like, after you put it down, like, how do you revisit, like, say 40 listings on your spreadsheet?
Yeah. So, I'll kind of walk through my evolution in my own spreadsheet. So in the beginning, I didn't have days on market because it wasn't important 20 years ago. So I would just update the column. It would be active, pending, contingent, whatever the status is, and I would update those columns or cells manually. Today, I think days on market is probably the most important metric out there. I would add a column if I were doing it today with that formula. I think it was Jason that shared the formula. It might have been someone else. I definitely would add a days on market. If you're comfortable doing it manually, so be it. I would use the formula, update it for that column, and just have it update by itself.
Okay. So we should really like every day when we get on to look at our Excel, like check on the listings and
yes, you're trying to see what changed. Absolutely. That's the idea of this spreadsheet, is once you get, like, you put in your criteria, Amy, it takes you 2 hours the first time because you're putting in your stuff. Ideally, the next day, there's like one new thing, 2 new things, and like 3 changes.
Right.
It should just, that's the repetition that should come.
Okay. Checking on the stuff you put down and then putting in a couple more of the new ones new listings that popped up.
Yeah, because you're trying to figure out how fast your buy box is evolving. Like if you were doing this in 2020 or 2021, it was wild. It was like changing every day. Today, I think the market is slowing down. Days on market is going to be important. I think probably the most important thing, we talked about it earlier, is when do the sellers take off the market and when do they have the first price drop? I think those are the 2 things that are important, and the column that will help you understand that is days on market. So while 20 years ago, I never even considered having it, it would probably be the column right after the address. I mean, it would be like on my, like, far left of my screen. My brain works left to right. So it would probably be property address, days on market. It would probably be that important to me.
Right. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Of course. All right, Richard, your hand is up. And folks, again, remember, if you want to look at your spreadsheet, just raise your hand.
Yeah, hi. So good morning. So my question was around the rentals, the factors. So I know that you were saying to have the comments field with all the fields and the likes about the property, but what I was wondering is factors that aren't really on a spreadsheet, but could really matter. For example, I'm in sort of a university area. There's a kind of mid-sized college, and there are a bunch of townhomes, but there are also some of the HOAs are like super aggressive and kind of problematic. So for example, they require you to like register with them. Only like 10% of the units can be for rentals. Sometimes there's actually one in my area. I almost bought a place, but you are required to use their property management company. And they literally, if you're, looking to buy there, they'll go, and if, you're a quote unregistered renter, they'll walk up and be like, hey, who owns this place? And they'll start causing you problems. And then they're super aggressive with like their parking. So, they're literally 1,000 empty visitor parking spaces, and they'll fine people $300 if they are an owner and park in one of the visitor spaces. So, but no one, so I got like down to the wire about to get this place and then find out about these guys. And I just went to the neighborhood in the evening. I started talking to some people, and one of them, kind of gave me the lowdown on the neighborhood. But
Saved you.
short of like walking into people walking their dogs, like how can you find out sort of these things that are really important that don't really fit on a spreadsheet, but you kind of need to know?
You got to build a network locally, and that's something we should all get to as we learn what we don't know. But if you're lucky enough, like Serge and I forget, Van Reeth, I think it was, that live in the area, that's what I call kicking rocks. You got to go see it. You got to go see it. You got to go talk to neighbors. You could talk to other like if you're investing out of the area, find 3 or 4 investors that are already successful. Ask those kinds of questions. You can't see that stuff's not going to be in the MLS, not going to be on Realtor, Zillow, none of that stuff. But as you go deeper, you're going to need to find that. And if you are investing in areas that are HOA kind of heavy, realize that they're not all the same. And that would be something I would definitely poke at. I would definitely try to figure out, are they friendly or not to investors? And worst of all, pick up the phone and call them. Their HOA numbers are public, right? There's a phone number, there's an email. This is your money. So definitely go ask those questions.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, we've got 15 minutes or so. I'm happy to take other questions. I guess I can look at the chat. I never look at the chat. I need to look at the chat more. Let's go to the bottom and see. So Mike, talk about investing off market. Yep, we could set up something for that. I could do a session on that. Let's see. Everybody likes what Jason is doing. Discord, got it. Good. Oh, Adam had a question. Sorry, Adam. Oh, see.
Hey, so I have a quick question. There was one of the properties that came up, and it's, over like 130 years since it was built. When you take properties that are that old, like, is there any type of special things you have to do when you do an inspection? Like, do you need to bring in, like, I don't know, an architectural engineer or something? Like, do you have to worry about things that you wouldn't normally have to worry about with properties if you're looking at that?
I would, so any house that's more than 50 years old, I don't care what the agent or whatever, I would definitely get a detailed inspection. I own houses that are supposedly 120 years old. What often happens is they've been updated 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Right. So, and again, I've torn off walls and whatnot inside old houses, and they built them different. They're very sturdy.
Yeah.
But
I
you're
know
looking
the
for
area,
wiring
like,
and
yeah,
wiring and plumbing. It's wiring, plumbing, and mechanicals. But I would
is there anything you have to
definitely
worry about from like foundation or stuff like that? Like, do you have to get people in there? Like, how do you, like, is that just, I wasn't sure if there was any kind of special thing you can do when you get to that level,
I would, so plumbing, some of those areas are on septic, the older stuff. I would definitely get that checked out. Replacing a septic tank is not only disgusting, but expensive. No, I mean, it's the same stuff.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of the lot, because there's actually a part of my town, Fresno, called the Tower District, where every home's 100 years old, and I own a dozen of them.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Oh, some of them are on slabs now. Well, some of them just have the frame. I don't know what it's called in construction speak. Like where they just outlined it with cement. So they had these beams going across. So there's a crawl space. I did have somebody go down there and check.
Okay. Yeah, that's because I'm asking, like, we have stuff going back to the 1700s, so like there was one of them that came available, and I looked at it, and it was a reasonable price, but I was like, I don't even know where you start with something like that. Like, I need to get some of the historical society to go there, but like this one was at least, from after the Civil War, so like,
wow.
But
so I would definitely, so the foundations, because the foundations were done very differently 100 years ago. I would definitely look at that. As far as historical stuff, there are areas where you can't touch the outside.
Yeah, no, I avoid that area. There's a specific area here that's near a park. It's beautiful. I actually wanted to live there, but like the rules are so strict on what you can do.
Yeah.
You can't change your shutters. You can't.
It's like not your house. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course. All right. Julio has a question.
Yeah, I know we're right now just putting numbers in there with Zillow and Redfin and places like that. But could you talk about like the relationship you built with the real estate agents? Like how, when you say do the work, is it like you're getting emails every day from like 30 different people and you talk to them all the time, or is it more like 1 or 2? What do you go up and tell them? Like, what's that conversation like when you start?
Yeah. So when I start, right, is I basically go in and I tell everybody what my buy box is. If the agent is good, what they should offer to do for you is to create up an alert, right? An automatic search that gives you daily updates when new stuff hits. That would be a sign of an agent, a good agent. I believe they should also talk to you about what are you looking for, pre-approval. They want to make sure you're legit, because you got to remember, there's a lot of real estate investors who frankly waste time from real estate agents. So you got to make sure the relationship is good for both of you. And that means, in my opinion, you come prepared. The last thing I want to hear any of my students say is, just give me a good deal. That's not okay. That's giving somebody else responsibility for your stuff. But at the end of the day, I get multiple alerts from 2 or 3 different agents who set them up years ago, but realize that I do a lot more outbound calling. I don't just wait for the emails. I do a lot of outbound. I look at my market every day, like you guys, and I generally either call one of the agents I know, or I'll call the listing agent if I want to meet somebody new. Today, I probably call the listing agent half the time, because I'm not against building my Rolodex. I want every agent in Fresno, California to know who I am. And that takes phone calls. So if I find a property that I like, even if it goes pending, I will probably call that agent if it's a new agent and introduce myself and tell them. And oh, by the way, follow up in 2 weeks if it's still not closed. If I really like the property, money is made in the follow-up. So I do a lot more outbound phone calling than probably most people expect.
So are you getting most of your stuff from the emails they send you every day, or the notifications, or some of it coming from?
I cannot remember. I can't remember the last time I got a deal out of an alert. I'm sure it's happened in the last 2 or 3 years, but no, I don't. First day listings, which is what they send me, I don't really care about. It's interesting. I like to see it, but my deals are from motivated sellers, days on market, writing multiple offers, following up, all of that stuff.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Of course, Julio. Van Reeth, your hand's up again, I think.
Yeah. So I did have a question about when you look at markets and how friendly it is towards landlords.
Sure.
Kind of what came up to in the past week about the guy in Brentwood.
Oh yeah, 500 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then the tenant wanted $100,000 to move out.
Saw that.
And it was an Airbnb, but then they took it off platform, and then now it's
legal limbo. Yep.
Yes. And so I know LA, it's kind of
rough.
It's rough, and I'm not sure, how do you determine if that's something you should look into, like an area?
If a city I was investing in got anywhere close to LA County level of communism, I would not invest there.
Okay.
What's going on in LA County is not okay. Not okay.
Yeah. And Long Beach, it's kind of like its own little thing because it has its own departments of things. And so I don't know how friendly they are towards it.
I would ask other investors.
Okay.
Other property managers. I would go in and voice that concern and see what they're saying. And again, if you talk to another investor, they're likely been there for 10 years, 20 years. They'll tell you about the history. Don't worry about it. Nothing's changed. Or, you know what? That damn freaking pandemic, everything changed. Good information.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Very, very welcome. Adam.
Okay, I had one more add-on to that question I had earlier.
It's okay.
So when it comes to a live-work property, because I'm kind of in a unique situation where I'm looking literally for both.
Okay.
How would you? Because like you've talked a lot, and I agree with you that corporate, like a live-work situation is kind of half and half, but it's also like, commercial properties really getting smoked, and I'm looking at some of these per live-work properties that are 250 days plus on the market. And I've talked to people like around the area, and then when people are like, yeah, everybody's kind of struggling to sell them. So would you treat that as more like, a like a place where you're going to be way more aggressive than we can, even if the area is doing well from a residential standpoint? Do you know what I mean? Because it's kind of half and half.
Absolutely be more aggressive. Anytime you could find an opportunity where it's leaning your direction. What people don't understand is buyers have all the power. Buyers make deals. So if you happen to be in a unique situation, like if you were shopping for a office building in San Francisco, California today, you bet your ass I'd be writing disrespectful offers like 70% below. Hey, it's on sale. I'm the only buyer left. Blackstone, freaking Blackstone just sold a property for 50% off they bought 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you are lucky enough to be shopping in an environment where there are no buyers, be aggressive. Really aggressive.
10-4.
And good luck. Thomas.
Hey, Mike. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about writing an offer and what that looks like. You mentioned that a lot, writing offers, but exactly what does that look like and what does that entail?
You know what? I'll actually bring up Catherine. She is a licensed real estate agent, if my memory serves. So I'll say my example, and then Catherine can correct me. Basically, what I do is I find a property I like. I call up a licensed agent. I am not a licensed agent, and I tell them what I'm looking for. I give them the property or the APN number, the price, any special terms, and then Catherine fills out this 15-page form in California, or 16 or whatever it is, and they submit that to the listing agent. And that starts the process of making an offer. Catherine, did I oversimplify it?
Well, you simplified it, but it's perfect. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, text the agent," but that doesn't seem like the right way to go about it. So
a text is not an offer.
Exactly. It's a formal offer.
Verbal is not an offer. It has to be in writing, has to be signed, it has to be contractual, and you have to put down some earnest money for the seller to be, and you have to have some kind of showing, either a pre-approval letter or proof of funds, so that the seller will know that you're legit.
Serious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think anybody talking about texting offers and this, that, and the other, they're doing a shotgun approach. And if I was an agent receiving one of those, it's not an offer. It's noise.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Catherine, for playing along. All righty, folks. So our next session, I'm going to do it probably next Sunday. I know I said I wouldn't do them back to back, but the honest answer is I'm speaking at Flip Hacking Live later this week, flying home. Then I need to drive to Vegas. So the next day I have available is next Sunday. Next Sunday will be a second session of this, or I will get Derek confirmed, the ADU guy, and we'll do an ADU section. So we will have a round 2 of this. My hope is we have Derek on next week and we push this another week out. I will let you hopefully know in the next 24 hours. But next Sunday, 8 to 10. I'm sorry I can't do it Saturday, but Saturday I'll be driving 8 hours, getting my car from the Bay Area to Vegas so I can start get my license plate and all that changed. So Saturday I'll be driving. So we're going to have to do this next Sunday, 8 to 10 a.m. So Alex, you had one more question, I think, or did we not just lower our hand? I forget.
Hey, Mike, sorry about that. I'm in a busy area. So I just sent a group chat. So in the future, would you share like some type of marketing techniques to like invest like in off-market properties? Like there's a lot of probates and I mean, so I don't know if you have something planned out for us in the future.
I will make sure that is one of our 10 days.
Okay.
The 10 days we do it. And the beauty is I will bring on Jason Pritchard, who has been doing that for 5 to 8 years and is the man at it. So I'm not afraid to reach out to my Rolodex to make sure you guys get what you want. We will do that day 8 or 9, but hold me to that. Make sure it happens.
Gotcha. It's just that I just don't want to be competing with everybody else, and I figured out if there's another way to be first in line.
Totally agree. Also, don't forget, don't. Here is the easiest thing that most investors don't do. You ready? They don't tell everyone their buy box. The last 10 deals I got, 8 of them were from my network because people know what I buy. Tell everyone what your buy box is. You never know when a deal will come through.
Gotcha. Thanks, Mike.
You got it, buddy. Amy, last question of the day before I get ready to go talk to Dan Bird about stocks. Amy.
Okay, I'll make this quick and it's a little off topic. So like a couple weeks ago, I was practicing like talking to agents and like networking. And then I came across this listing that looked like it was like a good layout to potentially block off one side to make it like its own like ADU unit, but inside the building. And it was on market for like almost a year. So I was kind of intrigued and I called the listing agent. And then the listing agent told me that it was like a divorce sale. And the sellers are kind of deadbeat. Like they don't want to fix anything that he tells them that needs to be fixed. But then they also don't want to lower the price. And it just sounded like they are not really doing what's needed to sell the house. And they're kind of getting and he was like, oh, I would call them motivated sellers. And he was saying like, oh yeah, we're about to renew out like our contract for another year for me to sell their house.
So I'm sorry, Amy, I think I misheard you. Did he say they are motivated or they aren't motivated?
They are. He was like, I would call them motivated sellers.
I would.
But it just sounded like they're kind of like they don't know how to get themselves out of the situation that they're in, but they also don't want to take any like lower any price or anything. And
divorce. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I didn't, because I'm not actually at the point of making any offers yet, but I was wondering like how that conversation would go, like given all those things that the listing agent told me, like how would I be like, oh well, have they thought about seller financing or something like that? But also the other thing was the house has a pool, which is like one thing that I really don't want. So I don't know, I know like taking out a pool is a thing, but it sounds very expensive also.
So I've removed a couple of pools from apartment buildings. It's actually a whole process and you got to get, permits and all of this. I think the last pool I removed was 10 years ago. So pricing may have changed. I think it was 15 grand. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's 20 grand. These are bigger pools because they were apartment buildings, but so I've done that. You're going to live there if I remember the story though. That was your goal. So, that's up to you if you want to keep it or not. I will never have a pool at a rental unit, my personal choice. But back to the first part of your question. I think what I would be asking that agent is, because again, divorces are tough, just tough. What I would try to figure out is, what are they looking for? Because what you may find is, they just want out, and maybe, the Pace Morby creative financing thing is the way to get them out. Like they just want to go their separate ways. Second, you may find out, that the husband wants to stay there. The wife is already gone. You don't know. And then third, you may find out they need 50 grand at closing, right? These are all, you're trying to figure out what do they want to leave with? Because then you could build an offer around, right? So the thing that I would try to figure out from that listing agent, because that sounds like he wants to get it sold, right? He's going to renew another contract. What is the seller really looking for? Walk away, lease back, because maybe, again, we'll just say the husband wants to stay there. They want to wait till the school season's over. I mean, divorces are just hard. You've got so many raw emotions. But what I would try to dig for is okay, we close. Now what? Everybody went their separate ways. They walked away with a check. That's what I'd be trying to figure out.
Yeah. It does seem like there's more to dig into about the story. So that's a good pointer. Thank you for that.
Of course. Alrighty, folks, you have been amazing. I want to let each and every one of you know that we're brave enough to put up your spreadsheets. Thank you. Without you knowing it, you helped others along the way, and others will be watching this in the future. So thank you for doing that. We will have another session next Sunday, 8 to 10. It will either be a follow-up on this, making sure we're making progress, or I will get Derek, that ADU guy, to talk to us about ADUs, and we will push that another week out. So I will let you know, hopefully in the next 24 hours. All of you are amazing. Have an amazing Sunday. Bye. You guys are great.